Chapter 0 of Little Masterpieces of American Wit and Humor, Volume 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Joe Sela. Little Masterpieces of American Wit and Humor, Volume 1, edited by Thomas Lansing Masson. Introduction. This anthology of American humor represents a process of selection that has been going on for more than 15 years, and in giving it to the public it is perhaps well that the editor should precede it with a few words of explanation as to its meaning and scope. Not only all that is fairly representative of the work of our American humorists, from Washington Irving to Mr. Dooley, has been gathered together, but also much that is merely fugitive and anecdotal. Thus, in many instances, literary finish has been ignored in order that certain characteristic and purely American bits should have their place. The editor is not unmindful of the danger of this plan, for where there is such a countless number of witticisms, so-called, as are constantly coming to the surface, and where so many of them are worthless, it must always take a rare discrimination to detect the genuine from the false. This difficulty is greatly increased by the difference of opinion that exists, even among the elect, with regard to the merit of particular jokes. To paraphrase an old adage, what is one man's laughter may be another man's dirge. The editor desires to make it plain, however, that the responsibility in this particular instance is entirely his own. He has made his selections without consulting anyone, knowing that if a consultation of experts should attempt to decide about the contents of a volume of American humor, no volume would ever be published. The reader will doubtless recognize in this anthology many old friends. He may also be conscious of omissions. These omissions are due either to the restrictions of publishers or the impossibility of obtaining original copies or the limited space. End of introduction. Recording by Joe Sela. Chapter 1 of Little Masterpieces of American Wit and Humor, Volume 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Joe Sela. Little Masterpieces of American Wit and Humor, Volume 1, edited by Thomas Lansing Masson. Wouter Van Twiller by Washington Irving. It was in the year of our Lord, 1629, that Mynheer Wouter Van Twiller was appointed governor of the province of Nieuw Netherlands, under the commission and control of their high mightinesses, the Lord States General of the United Netherlands and the privileged West India Company. This renowned old gentleman arrived at New Amsterdam in the merry month of June, the sweetest month in all the year, when Don Apollo seems to dance up the transparent firmament, when the robin, the thrush, and 1,000 other wanton songsters make the woods to resound with amorous ditties, and the luxurious little Bob Lincoln reveals among the clover blossoms of the meadows. All which happy coincidences persuaded the old dames of New Amsterdam, who were skilled in the art of foretelling events, that this was to be a happy and prosperous administration. The renowned Wouter, or Walter, Van Twiller was descended from a long line of Dutch burgomasters, who had successfully dozed away their lives and gone fat upon the bench of magistracy in Rotterdam, and who had comported themselves with such singular wisdom and propriety that they were never either heard or talked of, which, next to being universally applauded, should be the object of ambition of all magistrates and rulers. There are two opposite ways by which some men make a figure in the world, one by talking faster than they think, and the other by holding their tongues and not thinking at all. By the first, many a smatterer acquires a reputation of a man of quick parts. By the other, many a dunderpate, like the owl, the stupidest of birds, comes to be considered the very type of wisdom. This, by the way, is a casual remark which I would not, for the universe, have it thought I apply to Governor Van Twiller. It is true he was a man shut up within himself, like an oyster, and rarely spoke, except for in monosyllables. But then it was allowed he seldom said a foolish thing. So invincible was his gravity that he was never known to laugh or even to smile through the whole course of a long and prosperous life. Nay, if a joke were uttered in his presence that set light-minded hearers in a roar, it was observed to throw him into a state of perplexity. Sometimes he would deign to inquire into the matter, and when after much explanation the joke was made as plain as a pikestaff, he would continue to smoke his pipe in silence, and at length, knocking out the ashes, would exclaim, "Well, I see nothing in all that to laugh about." With all his reflective habits, he never made up his mind on a subject. His adherents accounted for this by the astonishing magnitude of his ideas.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?